desire our society, want the right to be human, living free from tyranny. We want to step out of fear, our authoritarianism. We just want to be free. I just want to be me, and we will never give up. Này ai, chúng tôi sẽ không im lặng. Ta cần nước sạch, dân cần nhà nước minh bạch. Ta cần nước sạch, dân cần nhà nước minh bạch. I just wanna be free, free, free. I wanna be free. I just want to be free. I wanna be free. I used to be a pop star. I had a lot of fans, shows, and money. I even won the Song of the Year award for a patriotic song that I wrote about my country. I was living in a good life, but it wasn't enough for me. Now I'm gonna tell you how I got from there to where I am now. How I get involved in activism and what I've learned from this experience. This is a picture when I got the prize, when I won the award. But back into 2010, I was already reciting social norms about what it means to be a Vietnamese woman, what it means to make music in Vietnam. I wrote a song about women's freedom. I caused the national scandal for saying I don't want to have children, or for not wearing a bra. When I won Song of the Year award, I was so happy. And I shaved VN for Vietnam, the name of my song, in my hair. I was just expressing myself in a different way. It earns me a lot of fans and just as many critics. By 2016, I was bored with Vietnamese pop industry. I couldn't feel free when I create art and music with the censorship system. I got bored with singers and musicians who censor themselves, and I started to spend time with dissident artists who were doing some interesting things. Writers who are banned from writing. Publishers who cannot publish. Poets whose poems removed from the official records. One day, a friend gave me an idea. Mai Khoi, why don't you nominate yourself for the National Assembly election as an independent candidate? I didn't know it was possible. Most of the candidates in the election are Communist Party members. Vietnam is a one-party state that doesn't allow any political opposition. Activisms are criminalized. Peaceful protests are crushed. And the press is censored, so people don't know about their rights. But it turns out the law allows people can nominate themselves as an independent candidate. I took a few days to think about this. I thought this is a good way to promote human rights and democracy. This is a chance for people who want to change their society. If people can get into the parliament, they can write the new laws. They can change some public policy issues like violence against women, environment, or education, or food safety. But first, people need the way to get into the ballot. So, I nominated. My nomination sparked a huge debate in Vietnam. At the beginning, the government officials said things like, if you just only can sing, it's difficult to get into the parliament. Or, how can we allow a person who doesn't wear a bra get into the parliament? You know. But the more I was criticized in the media, the more people start to question why the official trying so hard to discredit me. They could see how I was treated unfairly. 3 weeks after my nomination, my show was raided by the police, and they published an article on the police magazine to let people know that I am effectively banned from singing in public. Of course, in the end, I was rejected from the ballot. But I wasn't about to give up. Knowing that President Obama was coming to visit Vietnam, I made a video to invite him to meet with me. I thought the meeting would help legitimize my election campaign and inspire young people. President Obama, I want to meet you when you come to Vietnam in May. The United States supports Vietnam to promote the rule of law, transparency, and civil society. I want to talk about how the United States can better help Vietnam to reform its legal system. As an independent candidate for the National Assembly, I want to talk about how we can improve our law on elections. You know, the video went viral, but many people thought I was dreaming. How can Mai Khoi possibly meet with President Obama? At that time, I have a friend. She has relative works in the government. She called me and she told me, Mai Khoi, you're under surveillance 24/7. The police will try to prevent you from the meeting. So I went into hiding. I could see many activists was detained, and it made me nervous. How could I be the next one? But I could come to the meeting. I made it.
We have a very popular artist here who is speaking out on behalf of freedom of speech and expression and artists throughout Vietnam.
You know what I've learned from this experience? First, no one can change the world on their own. If you want to change the society, you need to work with other people. This means putting difference aside and building the support. The second thing that I've learned is freedom of expression and democracy are very powerful concepts. But with Vietnamese who don't know about their basic rights, they abstract the content. So I try to communicate with people in the way that relevant to their lives. And this, music and art can play an important role. Another thing that I've learned, you know, how freedom of expression, how important of freedom of expression. I was trying so hard to raise awareness for people about freedom of expression. And it's so difficult to engage people. One day I realized I'm gonna practice it to let people see what it looks like. In November 2017, when I know Trump came to Vietnam without saying a word about human rights or meeting with civil society, I went down on the street and welcomed him to Hanoi. You know. But at the same night, I was evicted from my house. While people think that my protest was rude and silly, people talk about this for months. Yes, it creates a big debate about freedom of expression, and this is valuable. Internationally, it's raised awareness about the lack of basic rights in Vietnam. It was the top of the credit at that time. You know, long time, I will encourage more people to nominate themselves for the National Assembly for the next election. I'm doing some projects like the graphic novel and the video art to engage people in politics issues. And if you want to learn more about my projects, we can talk later. You know, now when I create art and music, I don't think about the censorship system anymore. And I hope my music can help people to create art and music to feel as free as I do. And we together can change our society. We together can express for unspeakable voice of Vietnam. Thank you.